date. We can order grocery shopping online, we can pay our bills on banking apps, yet when it comes to mental health, too many Kiwis aren't accessing the help online that is out there. A leading specialist in eMental health from the Auckland University of Technology is calling for more investment in digital innovation to enable more people to connect to support services. Joining me now is Professor Anil Thapliyal. Good morning.
Good morning, Haley.
So what currently is out there in online mental health services?
There is a lot of investment currently in New Zealand in the online mental health space. Particularly, most of those initiatives are led by the Ministry of Health. So one of the ones which you would be very familiar with is led by Sir John Kirwan. It's called National Depression Initiative, and there's an online presence called the Journal. So it is, but it's not widely known by the people that they can go online and use that service. And there's the Journal e-coaching service, so there are a range of services, but how do I, as a normal person living in somewhere deep Southland in Otago region, how do I know these services are available? So it's a matter of also knowing what services are available so I can access them.
Absolutely, and why isn't there marketing around this? Mental health is a huge issue in New Zealand.
I think communication, as you would know, you work in communication, there's never enough communication. I think there has been honest and sincere effort that's been there. Whether it's been enough, that's questionable. And people are coming across these issues at varying degrees of wherever they are. They could be going to see a GP, talking to a friend, or they would maybe talking to some people who may be able to give them the access to those services. So I think there are agencies like Health Promotion Agency who are doing their best, but I think the current government's focus is to rectify whatever the remedy the situation of not having enough information for the people out there.
So the current government have invested $20.8 million over 4 years into digital and telehealth services. Are you confident that this is going to be spent properly?
I think the good intentions are there. Whether we have enough commissioning experience to get it right and get it done, I'm very confident with the current leadership that all the things are being put in place to ensure that it happens. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
And why do we need to have online services?
I think all of us have devices, I think the phones. Yeah. And what has been surprising is how people are communicating. When I look at the survey, which talks about, it's out of the UK, it talks about number one use of the phone is texting. Number two is email. Third is Facebook. The fourth is camera. Fifth is reading news, and it goes on. And number 11 is making phone calls. So,
and this is so everyone says call Lifeline, but people aren't calling.
No. And so if I was to create services, they need to be commensurate with the way people are communicating. So how do we speak the people's language? So are there enough services which are in that order so I can access services? So it's not so much about online. We don't talk about online banking. I don't come into this room and say, let me switch on the electricity and flow the electricity through the cables. So I think it's more about speaking the people's language.
Yeah. What kind of services would people be able to access, or should they be able to access online? Should they be able to access a counselling service that's not face-to-face? Because a lot of people who are struggling don't want to sort of leave their room even.
Absolutely, and I just liken it to, the necessity is the mother of all innovations. And in Zimbabwe, so if I look at it, there are a nation of 14 million people, there are only 12 psychiatrists. So only 12 psychiatrists for a nation of 14 million people. So they came up in 2004 an innovation called Friendship Bench. Friendship Bench is nothing else but where people could sit and chat. And it's been an absolute innovation right around the world, which has been adopted by so many other countries, including New Zealand and Australia. So
we've got Friendship Bench here.
And not in the proportion I would like for it to be happening here, but yes, it's got the beginnings of it happening here. So Friendship Bench, if you look at the basic tenets of what Friendship Bench is all about, it's about you feel listened to, somebody empathizing with the issue you have, and the compassion. This is very simple things which are very powerful tools. So when we talk about online, we are not talking about online as digital innovation. We are talking about virtual Friendship Bench. So literally through digital means you feel heard, somebody can still empathize, and power of personalization. So it's not just about online space. So sometimes some of the services which we are involved in, people talk about when there's a real person responding to, hi Haley, sorry to know you're going through the tough time, and is there anything we can do for you? You know what Haley responds back? 1 in 3 people in contact with us, are you a real person? So what we're talking about here is not about digital. It's about power of personalization. When people feel connected, there's another human being. So when I'm talking about the Friendship Bench.
Online communities.
Yes.
One of the greatest parts of my healing when I was when I was giving up alcohol was being able to share experiences and hear my story and other people's stories. So is that what something happens in the Friendship Bench? Can people just share their stories and you realise you're not alone?
There are various ways and means. So some places there will be online communities where you can talk to and communicate with the like-minded people, but there are forums where you just want to be just one-on-one.
Yeah.
So I think it's not just one approach which will suit everyone. Some people want to disclose their name and all the issues and where they live. Some people wish to remain anonymous. So I think there's a room for all services. So what we talk about is choices and improving access at the time and place of people's choosing. Because not everyone lives in Auckland, not everyone lives in Wellington. There are people living in the rural outbacks. They want to access services when they need it at the time and place of their choosing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Anil Thapliyal. So important, that message. The new frontier for mental health services.